Assalamu alaikum, how are you? In today's topic, we'll discuss further about a scattered plot. In scattered plot, what is the purpose of that? It means that we are going to plot two variables, one along the x-axis, other along the y-axis, in the same way that we have plotted in the previous questions that we have discussed in the previous lecture. But the new thing that we're going to tell to you that we want to show you how we can define the relationship, how we can define what type of relationship that we are getting with the help of this scattered plot. For example, two variables are there. One thing that is the homework and how much homework that were done by the student, how much hours they consumed upon that. For example, this is the data about uh, students, and we have similarly 420. Then we have 15 and 22. Then further we are moving homework because this data is much long. That's why we are now having the second column also. The second row. Like after 15 we got another student that has 14 hours of homework, and what is the time spent on the computer. That student who done the work homework. So you can see that if student has taken 14 hours to complete its homework, the number of hours on the computer, how many hours? 6 hours. 6 hours that were taken by that student. So for 5 it is 40. Then we have 2 against we have 8. Then for the 5, 3, then 20 and 20. So different students have different pattern of spending their time and consuming their times upon the homework and how much they spend on the computer. So you can see, so each student has a different pattern. So first is the understanding of the question, and in this way we have understand the question that students have different scenarios out there. Now we are going to plot. First we have understand this problem by with the help of this question. That's now we are going to plot it. How we'll plot? The plot is scatter diagram, and what we are going to do now. Here we have the x-axis, here we have the y-axis. This is our graph, and you can see this starts from 0, 0. On the x-axis, we have number of hours. On the x-axis, we have number of hours, and you can see that in a real graph, you can also see that one big block, then second big block, then third big block, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Like for example, we have 8 big block, and in the real graph, because now we are doing it on a presumed values. But on the real graph, you have just like that pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 is this. Similarly, this small boxes it consists upon. And after every small 10 boxes, one big block is shown by some prominent line. So you can see this is the pattern of a real graph, x-axis and y-axis. So now I hope you have understand this problem that we are going to plot in a presumed, but when you will do it at the graph paper, that will be accurate. This is also accurate, but it will be so precise when you will plot it on a graph. But here we have first thing the selection of scale. What is the selection of scale? Like number of hours, you can see that the data we have seen in this question. What is the minimum value for the number of hours? You can see what is the minimum value. The minimum value of the number of hours is 2, and the maximum value that a student took to complete its homework is 20. So you can see that we have to plot these values up to that. So last value should be 20. So appropriate figure that we can make now for this interval, what we should do now. I think 4. 4 is the appropriate figure. Like we have 4, or we can also see 4, 8, 12, 16, and 20. So here we have these figures. So each small block over there, you can see that each small block, what it actually tells us, 4 divided by, on x-axis, what the small value shows us. One small, one small box on the x-axis, what it is indicating, 4, that is covered in 10. It means that is covering zero point 0.4 values per block. It means first block is 0.4, then it is 0.8, and then the next one is 1.2. Okay, so each small block is 0.4, and 10 small equal to one big block is equal to 4. So this is the way to present. And the second, along the y-axis, what it indicates that computer, what is the range of computer? Computer, we can see the least value, smallest value is the number of hours that took by student was 3 hours in the question number 6 that we are now discussing. And what is the maximum number of hours that a student consumed? That was the student who took 40 hours. 40 hours he spent on computers. So it means that I have to plot these values from 5 to 40. So here I should make my block little bit bigger. For example, one big block is showing like 5, then it is 10. Next big block, this is 15, and the last one it is 20. And then no, it is, so it will become little bit of bigger. So we should reduce it. For reducing it, we have to increase it. Like now, I am making it 10, 20, 30, and 40. So this way, I have covered these values into 4 big blocks, and here I have covered my values in 5 big blocks. So 4 to 5 is the appropriate scale for covering the values. Now I am plotting it, and for plotting it, first I will have these values. For example, first value was 2. So appropriately 2 comes over here, and for 2 it is 25. You can see this is 2 and 25. For example, this is the first value. How? If that 2 comes, here straight line is coming, and here it is middle of that. For example, we have 10 small squares over there, so upon the fifth that is, and here where the 2 comes, it comes like one small, we have already discussed over there, one small was zero point 0.4, then it is 0.8, then it is 1.2, then it is 1.8. So it will be like half of those values, like amongst fifth value, that will be 2.7. Okay, so we have these 2 and 5, then 15 and 30. 15 will come like here, 15 the value is coming over there, and 15 for this, and we have the 30 for that, 30 over this, and 15 over this. So the second value is 15 and 20. Okay, similarly we are drawing all over it, like we have 12 and 18, 12, and here comes 12 and 18. This is the value, another value that we are there. So this is a scattered plot there. Then we have 5 and 35. Here almost between first and second block, and it is 5 and 35. You can see 5 and 35. Then we have 4 and 6. Because it's really easy. Because one big block is 10, it means 4. Like here, if we have 4 and this is 6, it means 6 block. It will be because one small square over this y-axis is showing one value, so it will be 6 block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will come over here, and this is 4 and 6. Now we are plotting certain values quickly. Then we have 2 and 30. 2 and 30 over there. Then we have 4 and 20. This is another value. Then we have 15 and 22. This is 15 and 22. Then we have 14 and 6. Here we have 14 and 6. Then we have 5 and 40. Here comes 5 and 40. So it means now you can see. Now, first, for example, I have made these values over there. You can see what sort of pattern it is. So if you look at that, the relationship between them, you can see that it is having such pattern of values that is having a dispersion out there, and dispersion, what nature of dispersion that is getting now. If we get the regular pattern over there, so you can see that the plot is like having these types of values. For example, this sort of pattern, it is not having this sort of pattern. If that will be having this sort of pattern, it will having the positive relation. So you can see, for example, I have plotted these values. So this is not showing the positive relation. Most of the time, it is getting the negative relation. You can see over there, it is getting negative trend. One is increasing, other is decreasing. So you can see, if that has increased, it has decreased. So it means that is showing this sort of pattern over there. So if that is getting this sort of pattern, it means that what it indicates, first part was to plot. So first we have plotted, and secondly, what we have to show. So it is showing the negative relation. So the second is the analysis. First, we have already solved plot, and the second is what it indicates. So you can see with the help of scatter diagram, it is showing the inverse relationship between them. What is the inverse relationship? You can see that it is the what you indicates negative relationship between the homework and number of hours spent on computer. So what it indicates, what we conclude? We conclude that there is a negative relationship between two variables. One is increasing, another is decreasing. And the second analysis that I also want to add up now is, we are adding it into this, that what, no, we have two variables. What it indicates, you can see in the data. If you analyze the data, you can see if the student has consumed so much upon the homework, so it has reduced the number of hours.